Teaching Social Studies in the Classroom by Roy Craig. Let's start with this question. What is social studies? Think about it. Words like history, maps, current events, and maybe even worldly issues come to your mind. According to the National Council for the Social Studies is actually the integrated study of the social sciences and humanities to promote civic competence. I bet you didn't know that one. Like myself, most students have probably learned social studies from a textbook. This doesn't go for all students, but I bet you remember the countless readings in those long social studies textbooks. You know, the one with the world map and the glossary in the back of the book? They're kind of hard to forget. Textbooks offer only so much information and are filled with vocabulary words. These vocabulary words then lead to those worksheets. You know, the ones with the fill-in-the-blank vocabulary sentences? I know you remember those. Before you knew it, it was time to study for the dun-dun-dun. Yep, you guessed it, unit test. On the unit test, usually there was a bunch of vocabulary words that you learned weeks ago and have probably already forgotten by the time of the test. If this is how social studies is taught, something must be terribly wrong. Meet Will, a student in today's social studies world. Listen as he explains his social studies experiences. Hi Will, can you tell me what grade you're in?
I'm in 4th grade.
And how often does your social studies class meet? A week?
2 or 3 times a week. This week it was 2 times a week soon.
Okay. And I'm going to put you in a little bit of a scenario. Say you walk into class and your teacher's going to teach you a brand new subject today. Can you go through how he goes about doing that? What's the first thing that he does?
So he tells us what the topic is and what we're going to learn about the topic. For example, like the Civil War. He'll tell us like why they were battling and
So some background information?
Yeah.
Okay.
Background information of what they're doing.
And is your teacher talking? Is he presenting a PowerPoint or are you reading from the textbook?
We actually don't have a textbooks or
Okay.
we don't do PowerPoint. We have like a sheet, an article, like on paper, and we read it as a class. And when we finish doing that, we have a right side, left side entry, and on the right side you glue that article in, and on the left side you do a reflection of what you just learned about. What, for example, if we're doing the Civil War, like the slavery or the battle, you could be like a news reporter and write what they're doing.
So you're kind of like reenacting and you're taking on different perspectives. Are you role playing?
Yeah, we're role playing by when we're news reporters, we're pretending we're actually in that scene.
Time period, gotcha. And then once you're done doing that, is there a lesson that's going to be taught, or is the period ending? What happens next?
If we all finish early, which is not normally because some people do get back from homework if you don't finish. But if everybody finishes early, you can show some reflections.
Okay, nice. So you share them?
Yeah.
And do you ever do any projects in social studies? Anything that you really enjoy doing, or something that you wish you did more of that you enjoyed?
We had projects like our founding fathers. It's like a poster. I.D. Morris. He wrote the Constitution in his own handwriting. Some extras, some fun facts. Or he actually had a peg leg from Horse Crash.
Cool. So how did you find out all this information?
We had a packet of that guy. People pass it out. And, we read the article about it. Then it's a project, and we write what he did and what he was.
So you're provided a packet of information that you can
Yeah.
use for your project. Awesome. Thanks for helping me out today.
Welcome.
It's interesting to hear Will talk about his social studies experiences. Can you believe he only goes to social studies a few times a week? And notice how he doesn't even have a textbook. I bet Will's 4th grade social studies experiences are a lot different than yours. Let's take a look at James Kendra's TED Talk on the content-free social studies classroom.
Social studies, I think the problem is we hit too much history. And I majored in history. I'm not saying history is not important. But for kids, just to say with social studies, I know I'm going to go to the next page of the book, and I remember my 7th grade social studies. I don't remember what the content was at all. But I remember every day we got there, opened to the next chapter, and we had to read. And I was like the 15th kid in the row, and I counted on the 15th paragraph. I better be able to read that one. I don't remember if it was U.S. history, world history, I have no idea. So we do history, which is important. But if we really look at social studies, we got to be teaching this other stuff. Like economics and civics. Usually save to your junior, senior year, you get a semester of it, and there. You know all about the government. You know all about econ now. I think we should do this every day. 7th and 8th grade. You know, next slide here. Social studies is more than just the history. Social studies is life. Social studies is economics. You make economic decisions every day. Economics doesn't have to be some scary term. Economics is, what are you going to do with your money? Are you going to eat lunch today, or are you going to save it and go to a movie? Kids make these decisions. Economics is not that complicated. It's kind of common sense until you start getting into a lot of the economics, you know, graphing the future and statistics and all that stuff we saw earlier. So social studies is life, and because social studies is life, I think it's really the reason we have public schools. We want to create citizens.
I bet a lot of you can relate to James Kendra's 7th grade social studies experience. He noted that we need to help students become good citizens. So how do we do this? The answer is social action. We need to allow students to take a stand and learn about topics that mean something and are relatable to them. Students need to research and speak on these topics and devise a plan for the future and act upon that plan. A community involvement project is an ideal social action plan. This is just one step teachers can take to give their students a beneficial social studies experience. Where does this leave social studies in the future, though? Diane Ravitch, a historian of education, states the following: our goal must be to insist that students encounter a variety of views that their teacher and textbooks recognize, the possibilities of fallibility and uncertainty, and students gain a solid body of knowledge, as well as the tools and disposition to view that knowledge skeptically and analytically. In the end, it is the teacher's responsibility to give their students the opportunity to learn something from social studies. In order for this to happen, teachers must step outside their comfort zone and start teaching their students how to accept multiple perspectives and controversial issues. Students need to change tomorrow by learning from history. If you change nothing, nothing will change. Thank you to the following resources that made this documentary happen: